What's up, guys? It's Wednesday, April 30th. Got the Firebird here, back on jack stands. Oh boy. Yeah, so we got the transmission in and out of it. I don't remember if that was end of March. I think that was the beginning of April. Whatever. We had the transmission out of it, replaced the valve body, figured out the adjustment for the 1-2 band, or the 2-4 servo and band. Got it back up in there, topped off the fluid, whatever. It was driving great. Drove it for about a week, and then I drove it to my parents one day, Saturday get-together, family get-together, whatever. And I noticed it was making a little bit of a strange noise coming from the transmission back of the engine area. And when we got into my parents' driveway, I went to put it in reverse to back into a parking spot, and it wouldn't go in reverse. And then I put it back in drive, and it wouldn't go forward either. So something's going on, I think, with the fluid pump and the torque converter. Either the way that the torque converter mates to the fluid pump. I've had it before. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, back in there somewhere. In that orange transmission right there. I think it was the same torque converter. And what it did is it would, here. So this right here, these grooves here, mate with the, I don't know if they call it the pump stator. I think it's the pump stator gear, and drive the pump in the transmission. So what happened with that orange transmission, and it made this same noise and had these same conditions, is somehow the torque converter worked its way to the front, out the front of the transmission, pushing up against the flex plate, and worked its way out of engagement from that stator gear, and then it wore those two lugs on the stator gear, wore a groove in them, and then it wouldn't go anymore. Now with that orange trans, I had it in the car for a month, driving around making passes on it before I did that. With this thing, it was only about a week or so. Now I don't know if that is the problem for sure. In that case, I'm thinking it's probably that torque converter, since it's the same one that was in that other transmission. But we got to figure out whether or not that is the problem or not. It could be that the pump got broken, because it is a constant pressure valve body now. That's a lot more strain on that pump. So not sure exactly, but it's got to come out. We got a couple other issues. I got to replace my temp sensor, because it's like always reading hot no matter what, even when it's like turned off. As soon as you hit the key or turn the key, ignition on, the temperature gauge just pegs right out. My oil pressure sensor, I need a new one of those. It's dropping in and out, and I know that this thing has good oil pressure constantly, so I need a new one of those. New temperature sensor. I got some fuel leaks out of my AN fittings here. This one here leaks a little bit, and then there's one where the fuel line comes out here to the regulator, down to the pump, from the pump back around the back of the motor and down that side. So there's one just past the motor on the bottom right here that's leaking a little as well. So I got to get those fuel leaks taken care of. It seems to be leaking coolant a little bit from somewhere. I'm not sure where, and that makes me nervous a little bit. I hope it's not internally. I did have mostly water in it over the winter and forgot to drain it out. It got quite cold. I'm slightly worried that I might have a cracked block internally and might be burning some coolant. That would really suck, and it would be 100% my fault. But we have yet to determine whether or not it is actually leaking coolant or not, or if I just improperly filled it in the beginning and didn't get all the air bubbles out. But then it also needs new wideband. My wideband died. It doesn't work at all anymore. So I need a new wideband O2 sensor for this thing. What else? I still have to wire up the fuel gauge in the back. It should. You can't see anything in there. Anyway, it should have. Hold on. So, let's see if we can get the flashlight here. We have a sending unit on this guy right there that is not wired up yet. So, should be able to wire that up and get the fuel gauge to read what is in the fuel cell here. That would be fantastic. I have to, come on, wire up the nitrous. This is the bottle heater blanket. I got to wire that up. I have to wire up the nitrous controller, which I have over here. Yeah, so this is the rest of the wiring stuff for the bottle blanket. This is the Max 6 nitrous controller. I got to get those things in and wired up. I have to get the fuel side of the nitrous kit run. I don't have that yet, but yeah, so there's lots to do on this thing yet. Obviously, work in progress. I wish it was a lot further along and I could make more fun content with it rather than just, excuse me, rather than just shop videos, because those don't seem to do as well, and honestly, they're pretty boring to watch, so I get it. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Oh, my transmission temperature gauge is leaking fluid out of the fitting that bolts into the transmission. So I guess that's what you get when you got a project car, just a car that you do things to over a long period of time. It just kind of, stuff goes bad that you've already done eventually. So needs a handful of new sensors, and hopefully, you know, no coolant, no broken block. That would really suck. Hopefully no broken block. We figure out where the coolant's going, and then figure out the transmission problems. I'm going to be pulling the transmission probably in the next video here. This is just more like an update video. So the next video I'll probably be pulling the transmission out and going back through it. I'm really hoping that it's a broken fluid pump, because I have one in a box right there. Right there. Yeah, right there. If it's a torque converter problem, then that's a lot more expensive. And I could throw this original OE converter back in it just to figure out whether or not the torque converter is the problem. But that's a whole nother pain in the butt, because then you gotta put it all back together and fill it with fluid, get it run, and have to put it in neutral every time you come to a stop sign, because it'll shake your teeth out with the stock converter. So anyways, lots to do. Just finding the time to do it's been a little more difficult lately, but still excited about it. Makes me sad that I'm not able to drive it all over right now, but it's all right. We'll get there. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. We still have our ATM carburetor up there, E85 carburetor. That's going to get put on this thing hopefully this year, right? Hopefully this summer. We get that put on there, get this thing switched over to E85. My plan is, once I get the transmission sorted out and all of my fuel leaks, sensors, and everything, you know, sorted out back to good, right? Back to this thing being daily drivable. My plan is to get this carburetor, this Brawler 750 gas carburetor, tuned in as best as I can on it, and see what it does on gas, on pump gas 93, and then swap over to E85 and see what the, if any, gains it makes swapping over to E85. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at and where we're going, and yeah, that's it. See ya.